Hi friends! Welcome to Explorers Club Week 6. This week we're learning about meteorology. Let's get started. So today we're going to look at what meteorology is, what meteorologists do, how meteorologists predict the weather. We're going to learn a little bit about our weather, and we're going to build our own weather vane. And of course we'll have some books at the end to read more about the weather. So our quote of the day is, when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. And Oscar Wilde said that. So what is meteorology? Meteorology is the study of the weather. Meteorologists study the weather, especially it's going to change in the short term, and they predict weather patterns. A person who studies the weather is called a meteorologist. They study the Earth's atmosphere. Meteorologists record everything from temperature to wind speed to humidity. They study a lot of things. And meteorologists are a big help to us. Meteorologists help us regular people decide what activities are safe to do on a certain day. You don't want to go swimming in the middle of a hurricane, for instance. Meteorologists make educated guesses. That means they use the knowledge that they have to make the best guess about something that they know a lot about by using different tools. Meteorologists collect data, that's information, from tools like satellites, barometers, thermometers, anemometers, radars, and even weather balloons. And we're going to watch a weather balloon in action. So this is from the National Weather Service, and it is a video of them preparing and launching a weather balloon.
The only way we have to actually sample the atmosphere all the way up to about 100,000 feet. Well, here at the Upper Air Building is where we actually go through the process of filling up the weather balloon. We use helium here at this office. Other offices also use hydrogen. And here on a standard day, we'll put about 1,200 grams of helium in. We launch rain or shine, hurricanes, blizzards, pouring down rain, anything except for lightning. If we hear any thunder within 15 minutes, we cannot launch the balloon. To prepare the radiosonde, we take it out of the box, take a look at it, make sure all the sensors are working properly. We have a hygroscope that measures humidity, temperature boom that measures temperature. Since all of this is GPS based, which you'll see up in the dome right there, we have to make sure that the radiosonde at the office is picking up the correct number of satellites. So we let it sit there for a few minutes to make sure it's catching all the satellites, make sure all the temperature data is correct. Once that is ready to go, we can bring the radiosonde down here and launch the balloon. We attached a parachute, so when the radiosonde does fall to the ground, it won't hit anybody, hit anything, cause any damage. After that, we will attach the parachute and the balloon to the radiosonde. After that, we launch the balloon. It gets to about 100,000 feet, takes 90 minutes to pop, and then we quality control and monitor the data for the next 90 minutes. These observations, after we take them, are carefully quality controlled by our staff, and then all of the observations go into our models to help us forecast. We also use the raw sounding data to actually help us with severe weather, rain snow lines when it comes to winter weather, and also helping us out with various other temperature and dew point predictions.
You can be a meteorologist at home, or at least start to be. One fun activity is to start on the 1st of the month. We're very close to the 1st of the month now, but you can also wait till January 1st when the year starts, and record the weather every day. So every morning you can look outside and say, is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Is it overcast? Is it rainy? Is it snowing? Is it super windy? And you can write it down. You can either write it in a notebook, or you can have your parent help you make up a chart where you can write it down. You can even make up a chart with boxes on it, 30 boxes or 365 if you really feel like making 365 boxes, and you can color them in and color code them for every type of weather and record the weather every day. And then you can look back over the year or the month or even the week if you just want to do it for a week, and you can check to see what the weather was And then if you want to try the next month or the next week or the next year, you can compare the two. That's a very simple process, but it's very similar to some of the things that meteorologists do. They can compare the weather to make weather predictions. They're educated guesses. Now, another way that we have historically predicted the weather was through weather vanes, which measured which way the wind was coming from. And we would use that to say, well, if the wind is coming from the north is colder, so it's going to be colder today. Or the wind is coming from the south, and we know that the south is warmer, so it's going to be a warmer day. Or there's an easterly or westerly wind that's going to bring different kinds of weather that we've seen this weather before, and we can use the direction of the wind to tell us about the weather. Now that's very, very simple, and meteorologists now have lots of other tools that they can use, but this was one of our earlier ways of predicting the weather. So we're going to make one together. So you start out with an empty container, some Play-Doh, some glue or glue dots, a pencil, a straw, some pieces of cardstock that are cut to make the ends of the weather vane's arrow, as well as cardstock to go on the top of your container, and then a push pin. So you take the Play-Doh out of the container and you put it in there, and this is to give it some weight to make it steady, and also to give the pencil something to be grounded in when we put it through. So you just take the Play-Doh out of the container and put it into your bigger container. Now you can do a container bigger than this one. This was just what I had on hand, but you can do a bigger one. A smaller one wouldn't really work so well because it would probably topple over, but a bigger one than this is fine. So then you take your north, south, east, and west, your compass rose, which I've already drawn. You can draw that and cut it out using scissors or an X-Acto knife, whichever one you want. And then you glue it on the top of your container's lid. Now it does have to be a container with a lid for this to work. That's the only requirement, really. So you glue that on top, and then you take your X-Acto knife. Now be very careful. If you use scissors or a knife, make sure you keep your hands out of the way. Best to ask a parent to help you if you're not allowed to use scissors or knives or anything like that. So you make a little X in the top so you can put your pencil through. Now once you've made your little X right there, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to make sure it goes through easy. Again, be very careful doing this, and it's best to ask a parent. So I put the lid on, put the lid also on the X-Acto knife to be safe, and then I take the pencil with the unsharpened end down and I put it into the container. So you want your eraser side sticking up. Now you're going to take your straw and you're going to glue your pieces of your arrow on either side. You want to have 2 triangles and 2 little rectangles. Triangles are for the head of the arrow and the rectangles are for the tail. I had some glue left over, so I just went ahead and stuck it on there, and then I stuck it on the other side as well. And then just placed my rectangles on the end to form the tail of the arrow. And once that's done, you are going to take your push pin out. Also be careful with these because they are sharp. And you're going to place your arrow on top of the pencil. You're going to take your push pin, again ask a parent, if you need help with this, and you're going to push it very slowly into the eraser. And that's going to hold it and allow your weather vane to spin. So now you can put it outside and predict which way the wind is coming from. If you're interested in more weather, there are some books that you can check out through the Jonesboro Library on our online catalog, which will be linked. And these are storybooks about the weather. There are also plenty of nonfiction books about the weather and meteorologists, different types of weather, and how they measure it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.